What's happening, everybody? TGIF to you, Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Krysan, TK over at Tremonti. So he's got the Billboard T-shirt on. You see the the good bottles of booze behind him. Tremonti's meat and seafood, not just meat and seafood, as you can tell by the picture that TK is in. I'm in an undisclosed location. You need to join the team. Tommy has, and others have. Join the team supporting the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. It's as little as $10 a month to be a member of the team. Go to lasportshall.com. All right, Tommy, this weekend, LSU baseball trying to get back on the winning side. They've gone 3-3 in their last 6 games. They've lost 2 in a row. They've got Sacramento State, who used to be a powerhouse Division II program back in the day, the 80s, 90s, and all that. And they've lost 5 in a row. This is a team that on paper LSU should be getting healthy on. They should have gotten healthy last week against Dartmouth and Northeastern as well. But LSU's got its horses going. Of course, Kason Evans expected to go tonight. I don't understand the whole mystery, secret stuff that Jay does. Well, don't want to tell you who's going to be the starting pitcher and all that kind of stuff. That's just a new way of things. We got to get used to it. You're not going to get announced starting pitching lineups till the afternoon sometimes of games. But Kason Evans expected to go tonight. He's got a 5.5 ERA through his first 3 starts of the season. Didn't have a great outing the first game of the year, but has gotten much better since.
Yeah, he really has. And, Jay Johnson doesn't like that. He said last year, somebody finally asked him, why won't you say who's pitching? He goes, well, we want to leave that little bit of doubt in the opponent's mind because, now they all have these videos where they can simulate whoever's pitching and work on it virtually. So I guess he wants to just that, coaches are like that. It's not just Jay Johnson. They want that, if they can have that little bit of doubt or that little bit of wondering in the other dugout, that's what they want.
So Kason Evans, and some numbers on him, TK, 5.27 earned run average, 13 2/3 innings so far this season. He's given up 11 hits, 8 earned runs, 7 walks. Does have 21 strikeouts to make up for those 7 walks. He's given up 2 doubles, no homers. Opponents are only batting .204 against Kason Evans. He does have 4 wild pitches and a hit batter. I think that he's a guy that is a heck of a pitcher. I think he is a guy, Tommy, that is going to be a reliever at the major league level. But I think he's just good enough to where, hey, in college, we want to get as many innings out of him as possible. He's more valuable. But I still think with that comes nuance. I think there is a difference between your mentality when you're a reliever versus a starter. There's a difference in routine. There's a difference in preparation. There's a difference in so many things. And one of the biggest things, Tommy, is that when you're a starter, you're getting that ball once a week. If you have a bad outing, you got to wait 7 days to get the ball again. And oftentimes as a reliever, you might be out there tomorrow to get the stink off of that bad outing. So it's a totally different mindset.
Yeah, it's very different. And it's hard to do both, to think like that. Although in college you have guys that do that. Not as much as they used to have guys who would be a starter and might relieve an inning on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. That doesn't happen as much. But it's up here a lot. There's a lot of it is up there. And that's a critical part of baseball, as we know.
Now, a 304 team batting average is not bad. But at this point in the season, we'd have thought LSU's team batting average would have been maybe like 330, 350, something like that as a team. They're only hitting 304 as a squad. Now, Jake Brown, out of the regulars, is the only 400 hitter. He's batting 400 on the season. He started all 14 games that they've played. He does have 5 homers. He has struck out 5 times, has walked 5 times, has an on-base percentage of .455, and is 4 out of 5 in stolen bases. He's at the top in everything, doubles and homers and RBIs with 20 through 14 games. But there's some names on here that are surprising with where their averages are at the point. Zach York, lot made out of him, hits a home run in his first LSU at bat as a Tiger. The big 300-pounder is hitting 256 on the season. Stephen Milam, preseason All-American shortstop, hitting 260. Seth Dardar, a lot made out of him, got off to a hot start. The veteran transfer from K-State, hitting 265. So that Seth Dardar and Zach York were 2 of the bigger offseason pickups offensively for LSU. They're both veteran guys, and lots of at-bats underneath them. But much like what happened last year when LSU picked up the veteran from Arizona, had its moments, but didn't have as good a year as you'd have thought. 265 for Dardar, 256 for Zach York. And the competition, Tommy, is only going to get harder from here.
Well, exactly. Maybe not this weekend. Maybe they can bump the numbers up a few notches this weekend. And LSU just has to, focus it differently. Jay Johnson says he knows the plan. And he keeps talking about that schedule, that he put him in a bad spot and this, that, and the other.
He's just trying to take the blame and the pressure off of the players and saying, that's just BS. It's just lip service. There's nothing with nothing with the schedule. There's no problem playing garbage teams on a Monday. He's just trying to change the focus and the narrative and stop talking about the kids and put it on himself. That's all it is.
The narrative's going to be big as to what happens tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday. A lot of eyes on that, not just LSU fans, but other people in the SEC saying, okay, what do we have here? So I don't know if you answer all the questions this weekend, but I think you if you're LSU, you got to make some kind of a statement like, okay, we are a good baseball team, because I think they are. They have a lot of talent. Now, can this result in the numbers in the box score that need to be there? And we'll just have to see how that plays out. Time will tell, as they say.
TK, this is one of the more bizarre situations in the history of LSU baseball for me, because I've never seen a team be so hot, look so good, particularly offensively, against mediocre, against decent teams, and then to just flip the switch the other way and just act like the 2007 LSU Tigers under Paul Maneri, which finished about 2 games or 3 games above 500, didn't even make the SEC tournament, right? That offense was so bad. I think they hit as an offense, Tommy, like 250 in the SEC or something like that. I mean, it was a brutal, brutal season offensively. This team's looking like that. We know they're not like that. We know they're not going to hit that. They got too many good players, but I just don't understand it. And people have asked me, I don't think Jay knows. I mean, you can't put your finger on the button. There's no what happened on Sunday against Central Florida where you beat them 11-0 in 6.5 innings, and you think, oh my God, let's make the reservations for Omaha now, non-refundable, no problem. To then all of a sudden, here we are 6 games later, and we're going, hey, what did the fine print say on that deal? And you can't. When's the cancellation date? You know what I mean? Like it's real, and I don't know why. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why. What happened? I don't know. Maybe they lost their eye in the prize. Oh, this is too easy. I don't know. But
maybe reading a little too many press clippings, and reading Powerhouse and reading all the rankings, and But hey,
there's more distraction maybe now than there was. Maybe there's too many distractions, right? I mean, you're a rock star. You're getting lots of money. You got agents. You got 75 million friends and family. Everything on social media is so blown up. The chunky first baseman is the cutest little teddy bear ever, according to all the fans. And it's like, well, let's see how cute he is if he hits 250. You know what I mean? Like it's cute when you hit 350. It's not cute when you hit 250. So it's a bizarre situation what's going on right now. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think you just if you're Jay Johnson, you keep throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks. You try different things to see if you can break the funk, if you will. And of course, I told the funny story on the air the other day about Pomp and Circumstance, where Coach Bertman made us listen to the song Pomp and Circumstance nonstop for a week, almost if we were in like a Chinese torture prison type thing. And eventually when we won the series the next weekend, he let him stop it. And we celebrated that. We actually did. I mean, this is, again, this is pre-cell phones, right? Now, when you go in a locker room, there's 35 guys sitting on a stool looking at their phone. Okay. When you went in the locker room back then, there was 35 guys looking at each other, coming up with things to entertain themselves. And so we did a graduation, Tommy. Scott Berardi, I think, put on he put on a robe and a graduation cap, and we had like a whole ceremony, in the locker room, so we graduated. I mean, those were the good old days where you actually, enjoyed spending time with your teammates and coming up with stupid things to do.
Yeah, you had to come up with things in the clubhouse and in the locker room, and hopefully, it's only March 6th. They got time to figure this out or flip it around. And it starts tonight, albeit Sacramento State. The Hornets, in case anybody's wondering. So we'll see how LSU reacts. And then, of course, it could be dodging some raindrops Sunday. A lot of schools around our state are playing 1 today, 2 tomorrow because of the weather that's anticipated. There's also been some travel ball tournaments already postponed. A lot of things up in the air. So going to have to keep an eye on the weather, but should be all good for tonight. You and Lynn Rollins on the call. I'll be watching and be curious to see each and every event. And don't be surprised if Jay Johnson really juggles the lineup. I mean, defensively and batting order wise. He's been known to do that, and I have no inside info. I don't know if he's going to do that for tonight, but I would not be shocked to see some pretty different things in that lineup tonight, offensively and defensively.
TK, tell us about your Pelicans bet. The
Well,
Pelicans all of a sudden, I don't know what's gotten into them, but all of a sudden they've been a much better team. I need you to pull up, Tommy, the Pelicans record in the last, since the beginning of the year. I mean, since the beginning of the year of 26, January and February. I'm curious what the Pelicans record is in the last 2 months versus the beginning of the season.
Well, it's better. I know that. And they are 20
Yeah.
and 44 right now overall. They're 20 wins, 44 losses. They beat Sacramento the other night. Sacramento's not good. The Pelicans are favored by 5.5 or 6, won by 10. They play at the Phoenix Suns tonight. The Suns are a 5.5-point favorite. They're a lot better than the Kings. My bet, go against the Pelicans 82 times. I'm 30 and 34. So with 18 games left, I'm 4 under 500. You got to get 4 or 5 over 500 for it to be a success because the juice has changed pretty much every game. But we'll see. Williamson had a big night last night. If they're all on the floor, they have been much better. I'll have, for radio tomorrow, I'll look up that schedule.
Speaking of basketball, it's keeping on the hardwood in Baton Rouge. LSU women with a big game today against Oklahoma. What time is it? They're in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. If they win, an even bigger game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's on ESPN. It's a 2:30 tip today. 1:30 tip. That's Eastern time. 1:30 Louisiana time tip. LSU Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Florida last night. Right before them at noon today, at 11 a.m. today, South Carolina and Kentucky. South Carolina's the 1 seed. Carolina wins, LSU wins. They play tomorrow at 4:30. But got to take care of business. Now, they beat Oklahoma by 19 points back in January. But, it's the tournament now. LSU's the 4 seed. Oklahoma's a 5 seed. So, according to that, it should
coin
be
flip game.
Coin flip ball game. South Carolina will probably beat Kentucky. And LSU will know not that they care today, but they'll know the result of that before they tip off with Oklahoma.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I know ESPN and everybody will be looking forward to LSU versus Oklahoma. No question about that. LSU versus South Carolina, if that thing happens.
And that would
what time would they play tomorrow?
That would be tomorrow at 3:30 on ESPN2.
Okay.
Today it's on the main platform of ESPN.
LSU's men, can this thing mercifully come to an end? They play tomorrow. I guess it's their final home game of the year against Texas A&M. This is you talk about limp to the finish line. This is brutal.
This is a limp to the finish line. That's a good description. They play at 5 o'clock against A&M. Of course, everybody will be watching the women getting ready for baseball, and the men are kind of just there, okay? And A&M's nothing to write home about, but we'll see what happens with that deal with the men's program. I think there'll be a coaching change. That's just a pure TK guess.
Yeah, do you? Hey, at the end of the day, do you value the LSU fan? Are you willing to just throw more debt on top of debt, to buy out these coaches and get some new ones? I think the answer will probably be yes, but I don't have any inside source on that other than some people close to the program that care and do things for the basketball program feel like that is going to happen. But at the same time, fiscally, your guess is as good as me as to how. Mine is how that's going to happen. The Sun Belt Conference does a tournament. This is the second year of the tournament, Tommy. And tell me what you think of this format. They reward their regular season by having a single elimination all the way through. And what I mean by that is, and it's even everybody has a single elimination, right? Men and women in the SEC. But the way that Sunbelt does it is even more dramatic. If you are, depending on where you finish in their conference, 16 team conference, 14 or 16, I can't remember what, I think it might be 16, but in their conference, TK, the way it works is like, let's say you're one of the worst teams. Well, you might play on Tuesday. You got to win Tuesday. You got to win Wednesday. You got to win Thursday. You got to win Friday. You got to win Saturday. You got to win Sunday. You got to win like 6 games in a row to win the championship. But if you're one of the top 2 teams, you only have to win 1 game to be in the championship. And they stagger it. So like it's basically a big V is the bracket, so that what they're trying to do is give the teams the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seeds, the better teams in the conference an opportunity to advance. They're rewarding the regular season. How many times do you see a tournament? You have a number 1 seed, 25-5, taking on the 8th seed that has a below 500 record, and all of a sudden, bam, an upset happens. You have one bad day, and you don't go. This way, the bad team has to play 4 or 5 games before they ever get to you. If they have a miracle run, then they earn the right. But how many times is a team going to win 5, 6 games in a row against teams that are better than them? It's not hardly ever going to happen. 1 in a million type of thing. And so this is a way to guarantee those lower level conferences, the mid majors and below, an opportunity for their best team to represent them at the next level. What the Sun Belt wants, or any conference wants, is they want their best team. They want Miami of Ohio to win their conference if they're 29-0. They don't want them to have one bad night and get upset. And this bracket gives them that opportunity. I'm going to look it up real quick while I got you on, because I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, because it's even more dramatic than what like normal SEC does and normal kind of brackets these days. Sun Belt basketball bracket. Here we go. So you can kind of see how it's set up. So in this bracket, Tommy, the first round game pits 12 versus 13 and 11 versus 14. Okay. They move on. The teams that are like the number 1 and number 2 seed, they are just sitting there in the semifinals on Saturday, waiting to face the team. They only have to play 1 game to be in the championship game. If you're the 3 and the 4 seed, you only have to win, 2 games to be in the championship. Oh, so on and so forth, right? But if you are the bottom 4 teams in the league, you got to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games this week to win the Sun Belt Conference tournament. That's unlikely to happen. It's very 1 in a million kind of scenario. And so therefore the Sun Belt is guaranteed really their number 1 or number 2 seed being in the championship game, probably both, but for sure one of the 2, and having the best chance at representation. Because one of those teams are either going to play each other or they're going to play some team that's had to run a gauntlet.
I think it's smart. I think it's their conference taking care of their conference, and I'm sure it got voted on by the people that need to vote on those kind of things, and it's agreed, and the rules going in. So go get after it, and nobody's winning 6 or 7 games in 6 or 7 days.
Well, and the thing I like about it too is that and it's what every coach wants, which is every team goes to the tournament, right? It's there's no we didn't qualify. Every single team goes, and it gives you a chance, chip and a chance. You got a small chance, tiny chance, but you got a chance. And so the whole conference is represented. Everybody gets to go to the conference tournament. I like it. I like it. What else we got, TK?
Well, that's about it. World Baseball Classic tonight. USA, Brazil, USA.
What's the line on that?
They're minus 5,000 on the money line. They're laying 9.5 runs. USA will throw Logan Webb, right-hander for the Giants, who won 15 games last year. Good pitcher. Got great breaking ball. 9.5-point favorites in Houston. You can watch the game on Fox. The star-studded USA team. They're all cackling about red, white, and blue and USA. And it's a little. There's some pitch count for certain people, like Aaron Nola's got a pitch count for Team Italy. I'm sure Webb's got a pitch count because, you know, the Major League Baseball season is what, two plus weeks away. So there's going to be a little bit of that kind of stuff going on, especially with the pitchers.
I may be in Houston Monday night. Paul Skeens is going to potentially pitch against Mexico. He is pitching against Mexico on Monday.
You're going because he's pitching, or you got other business?
No, I'm gonna be in Lake Charles Monday, Tuesday, and it's only 2 hours away, you know, from Lake Charles to Houston, and with Skeens pitching Monday night against Mexico in Houston. Like, I looked at the tickets, Tommy. They're like, you know, standing room only is around $150 or something like that. You know, the tickets obviously go way up from there. But that just seems like a pretty cool deal. So I'm gonna see what happens. It might be a game time decision, but so you're seeing Houston, seeing Paul Skeens pitch when wearing the USA, seeing Bregman back in Houston wearing the USA, playing Mexico. You know, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a big thing. It'll be, you know, you're going to kind of watch LSU and Team USA tonight. I'll have the remote going. I got to make sure the batteries are good for tonight. Well, I'll put the other. That's what I need to put the other TV in there. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Look, minus 5,000 for Brazil. Hey, maybe throw $20 on Brazil. Just see what happens. You know.
Hey,
that's
baseball. A waste of 20. That's a waste of 20.
I mean, Southern beats LSU. You know, on occasion, they've beaten them 4 times. I mean, tell me Brazil and Southern ain't the same thing. I bet you it is. You know,
if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is baseball. You know, you can only pitch one guy at a time. You know, things can happen. Guy can have a day. I don't know. All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Well, 3:00 today and tomorrow. Hot out the pot, boiled crawfish. You can call and reserve some live crawfish. They got plenty. Not going to run out. Come on in. You can eat them here. You can get them to go. 3:00. They come out of the pot Friday and today and tomorrow. And, of course, they got all your non-Lent specials. If you want to do the fried catfish, the shrimp, the tuna, they got all kind of options. Crawfish pie, they got all kind of options here for those of you doing the Lent thing. But 3:00 today and tomorrow, hot out of the pot, crawfish, as good as it gets. And, of course, you can get some live crawfish and boil them yourself. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, Sports Shorts Radio will be at Fat Daddy's in Plaquemine. Great sandwiches there. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN Southwest Louisiana covering the Lafayette and Lake Charles markets. Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning. That's when we'll talk to you. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good weekend. Try to stay dry. I'm Tommy Krysan. Talk to you soon.